Senator Cramer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks all of you for your service and for being here. You know, like the chairman, I serve both on the Armed Services Committee and the Environment and Public Works Committee, have jurisdiction over sort of all sides of this. Also, like the chairman, I'm all for you, 1,000%. Unlike the chairman, I'm a freshman, but I also have, as you know, in North Dakota Admiral, 2 of the 3 legs of the triad. And I appreciate your being there so quickly after your confirmation. I've been to Minot. I was just thinking about it in just recent months. I've been there with Secretary Esper. I've been there with the Vice President. I've been there with Secretary Bruyette. I mean, it is clear that this is a very high priority, modernization. So with that backstop, is there, I'm very concerned about the GBSD. Continue to ask that question. Are we still on track for GBSD? And I really appreciated your response earlier about modernization and about the rust that the Vice Chairman asked Senator Reed. I like your attitude. I just want to be confident as you are, that we're on track, we'll remain on track. And is there anything in, whether it's the budget or the NDAA from either side that would put that at jeopardy?
Senator, first, let me offer that I mean, the responsibility for that lies with the Air Force, right? And I think they have been very good about asking for what they need. That said, I was just at Hill Air Force Base. I received a number of detailed briefings from the program manager for GBSD. I was impressed with the leadership, forward thinking, the way that they're approaching that program. And with just that, send that man ammo. All right, if we give him stable, secure funding, I have confidence he's going to deliver for us.
Certainly, if you wanted to answer that. Secretary.
Yes, thank you, Senator. GBSD just went through Milestone B, as I think you well know. I, too, have very recently been to Hill Air Force Base to meet with the team. It's an excellent team, making great use of digital engineering. They're really at the forefront of modern software engineering. They have very little margin in the program, but they're moving forward with Northrop Grumman very well. The one issue we have, and where we may very well need Congress's support, is in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of command and control and the silos themselves. We do have a lot of money allocated through the MILCON methodology. Yes. And whereas we have 500 separate items that need to be updated, that would be rather onerous to have 500 different or so projects. We're looking at consolidating that to streamline it. So we're very, very interested to see what comes out of conference, but we would ask that we move some of that money out of MILCON to give us the flexibility on the program execution side to move forward along the timelines. As Admiral Richards said earlier, it's our job in acquisition and sustainment to not transition programmatic risk over to operational risk. And I'm afraid if we don't move some of that money out of MILCON, that's exactly what we would be doing.
I'm completely supportive, and I agree. We cannot have 500 different MILCON projects. And it makes no sense. And every now and then, common sense can prevail if we work hard at it. So I appreciate that. Speaking of that, I have to admit, coming into this hearing, I had some questions, and after listening to you all, I have more. So we're going to have to get together, and I know I'm trying to get together with each of you, hopefully fairly soon, because as much confusion as there is, however, over the NNSA/DOE/DOD budget process, particularly the Weapons Council budget process, it pales in comparison to the dysfunction of Congress's appropriations process. So I'm never discouraged. I know we can get this right. We'll just say this, and then I will wrap up, and we'll get together and answer specific questions later. But just the very words semi-autonomous cause me some concern. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate it and I understand it, but autonomy implies a lack of accountability. Semi provides an out. And I just want to make sure we have specificity. And one of the questions that I'm going to ask you guys is, you reference early September often when asked the question about when did you get the NNSA budget. And you also, of course, know that there's a statutory deadline. I mean, was it early September or was it before the September 1st deadline, in the law?
September 4.
September 4th, okay. So we have at least 4 or 5 more days that we can work on to get this down even better. And that's my goal, is that let's get it done, let's get it right, let's have the type of both semi-autonomy that's important, as well as the accountability that's important and the transparency that's important. I'm going to ask this, and then again, we can answer it, you can answer it later. I do want to explore a little bit the OMB position on some of these things. We haven't talked a lot about it. You were asked, Ms. Gordon-Hagerty, sort of at the end of one of the questions, and I don't remember whose question it was, whether on this carryover issue, which you've described and put the context, I think, in a good way that helps us better understand it. I still think there's some confusion about it. But you said that OMB supports your position. I haven't seen that, and maybe it's not necessary that I see that. It's not a change in policy, it's more of a practice, an ongoing practice. So I would be interested to know whether that really is their position. And we haven't talked about some of OMB's objections relating to the sort of the implication of separations and the separation between the executive and legislative branches as it relates to the budgeting process. So maybe later, when we sit down together, we can explore some of that a little bit more, because like I said, the one area where OMB has weighed in pretty heavily on this is they don't want to see anybody imposing executive rights, and I don't disagree, but I like it better when we're all communicating. With that, I'll just,
Be happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.